It's a little D&D. It's kind of cool. Which is the thing I like the most about it. But I'm just gonna do a run through of the
Animal sky, freight, or food.
all of the things that you can possibly do.
Shaking her fluffy coat, the sheep eyes you balefully, her rectangular eyes like letterboxes to the void. With one sharp hoof, she kicks you right in the shin.
Okay.
Fresh meat. Bah. Nice. Plump. Banded like a chicken's leg too.
The depth of unamused ennui staring back at you from those ovine eyes is startling.
Are you referring to the ballerina? Oh, so funny, so funny.
With two shakes of her stumpy tail, the sheep turns away from you to peruse her hay-filled manger.
Party. Sassy sheep. Oh, is this a bucket? It's not a bucket helmet, I don't think. Nope. Sad day. This game, I'm kind of a kleptomaniac in it. I grab so much shit. Cool. Can I equip that? Fuck yeah, I can. Okay.
You there? Come here. Hey! Hey! Get me out of this cage and I'll make it worth your while. You in? A gentleman among jesters, you are. Give that lever a pull, and I guarantee we'll both get something out of the deal. Your guess is as good as mine. Someone screamed loud as a banshee. After that, pure pandemonium. They never even told me what I was accused of. Just dragged me down here. Set me free, and I'll set you free. A fair trade, I should think.
Now, just so you know, ahead of time, this dude's a punk bitch, and he's lying through his teeth. But I don't want to bang this guard.
I'm not one to let sleeping dogs lie.
Quite literally. Oh, there's also an electric discharge card. Wow, electric discharge scroll right here. Now this dude, I'm just gonna leave him be. He's got fire spells and there's a bunch of oil on the ground. It's so annoying. Oh, I don't have. Oh, wait. Can I not? Okay, cool. That's how you do that. Gotta wait for the fire to die, or else I will be on fire. Not ideal.
Not the most elegant solution, was it?
Why, you're looking a bit more chipper. Yes. Looks like...
See, I'm telling you.
In the meantime, your next stop will be Magister William. All passengers have to be registered in the ship's manifest, and he's the chap in charge of the logs. You'll find him on the other side of this deck, in the officers' quarters.
She frowns and peers at you closely, resting the back of one hand on your forehead and taking your pulse with the
Love
other.
this narrator, dude. He's great.
Delusions such as these are rare, but not unheard
Whoever
of.
is the voice
I recommend a
actor
cup of mulled wine and
did
another
not get
night's
paid
sleep.
enough.
Just take it easy. Don't you dare! If you violate the virtue of my carpet, I'll do a good thing worse and put a collar around your neck.
Index fingers pressed to her lips, she pauses a moment to give you a scrutinizing gander.
My word, you do seem a bit befuddled, don't you? Perhaps I was a bit too generous with that sedative. Oh, well, I'm sure you'll soon gather your wits. Most likely. Eventually. In the meantime, all you need to know is that we're en route to Fort Joy. A new life awaits, and if you're a particularly good boy, perhaps a cure as well. An end to Sauce. For good.
Anytime... Okay, so they're obviously evil, right? Like, they dress in, like, red. This is too much. They're super evil. But anyone that talks about shit like that, probably not a good person. I'm just gonna be honest.
Good gods! There's been a murder here.
There has. I'm not an elf. I can't solve it. So...
No
Don't care.
known associates.
Someone died.
In fact, he seemed quite averse to spending time with the
A no
others.
doesn't become a yes over time, you know.
An elf sits.
Snake eyes.
She chuckles.
I bet that's just what...
She shakes her.
Oh,
Game
God,
for
I
what,
didn't
Roland?
do that.
Deciding fates.
She eyes you.
I could lick your arm and tell you how you spent the night before last. Shall I?
I would prefer you not. There's an infectious disease going on.
She chuckles once more.
That red-cheeked refusal tells me more than licking you would. But suit yourself, darling.
She smiles contemptuously.
Just a kitten in a corner, aren't we?
I don't really like her very much. I had not picked her as a companion yet.
Don't know the first thing
I'm just
about
not a fan.
sauce.
So, I just want to punch this dude. He's one of the people you
It
get
was
as a
one of them.
companion as well.
I know it.
He's just genuinely awful.
Would you put a knuckle in it? I'm trying to
Jeez.
concentrate.
One of talk to dogs.
You!
Sorcerer! Blood!
No!
Go!
So obviously this is the best game ever made.
Here to register, sir. You faring okay so far?
He tugs the collar of his uniform and chuckles.
You can just like intimidate this dude.
Sorry you're upset, sir. But we all wear what we wear for a reason. You head on in now. Williams will get you sorted fast.
Keep those bolts trained on her, and if she tries to run, shoot to kill.
You seem on edge, officer.
Don't mind me if I
What
just
on
steal
earth is the
everything
matter?
that's usable off
Word
this
almost
table.
fell, and I strongly suspect you know all about.
Standing at the center of the room, you spot a sorcerer haughtily eyeing a pair of nervous-looking magisters. They keep their crossbow trained upon her as she's being interrogated by an officer.
So you admit it then? You murdered that poor fella.
Yes, I did. But of course, that was only the beginning.
She's very like upfront about it. So like love that confidence.
She turns her head and looks you straight in the eye.
There are others whose lives must end.
Good God, the woman's mad. You there, sorcerer, go and fetch Magister Siwan. We need to do more than collar this maniac. We need to shackle her, hands and feet.
I don't like her. She's obviously also evil, but so are you guys. Yeah, mutiny. Be gay, do
No.
crime.
I'm afraid I always perform my part solo. Do stay and watch, though, because...
You think you're a solo act?
She reaches
Not
for her
Beyonce.
collar and simply removes it.
Oh,
I'm
maybe she
just
is.
about to create a scene.
Subdue her, men, quickly! If she casts sauce, the Voidwoken will come. They'll end us all.
She smiles with wicked satisfaction.
Precisely.
They just put their crossbows down. They're over it. Party.
What's happened?
You were Oh, there was not a staff in there this time. That's unfortunate. It usually is. I guess a wand will do. But I never got my bucket outfit. Got some new socks. Love that. Take some wine to, like, get turned. I don't remember. Well, everything in there is on fire, so I guess it doesn't super matter. Oh, there's another dog. This game likes to talk to dogs. It's the game of the year.
The hound paws desperately at its snout.
Every
It
year.
winces as it draws blood from its wet black nose and continues scratching.
My dude.
The dog notices you for the first time and snarls, the hairs on its back prickling as it lowers itself into a lunge.
You sorcerer!
It sneezes suddenly and paws at its nose once more.
Can't smell. Can't breathe. Too much sauce. Too much. Too much.
Oh.
Please, make it stop.
My dude.
Sorcerer.
The dog whines and continues pawing at its nose.
Not long before this thing snaps into splinters! Damn, that doesn't bode well. Onwards and upwards!
At least I set myself on fire. Skeleton boy. He's totally gonna talk to him. I pretty much got my companions picked out already.
Great gods! Something's pounding on
The marking on the door. You press your palm against the door to open it. The wood feels neither cold nor warm, but simply grey. The colour drains from your
Feels a
hand,
colour.
and you are left numb. It doesn't budge. The door groans open, but an ashen shadow clouds your mind.
Death fog? I need to get out of here! Now!
Ah. My, that's a big package. Too heavy indeed.
Gods, get off this ship. No!
Sucks to be you. So yeah, it's a top-down turn-based strategy game. Suck on these. Some stuff on it. Jeez. This fire. There we go. Now I gotta remember how the game plays. Oh my god. There we go. I think I'm starting to catch on fire. Yeah. Yeah, I am warm. I'm on fire.
That means there's still a chance.
Shut your trap, kid. Children and dwarfs first, just like the old stories say.
The dwarf yanks at one of the nearby ropes to no avail.
What
said
an
there were other
asshole.
people down there. We need to help them.
You see those tentacles, kid? It's time for getting the hell out of here.
I like that it totally gives you the option to just say fuck everybody else and just leave.
Thank
I'm not
you.
doing that because I'm not a fucking monster.
There's a ladder right over there. You can go straight down.
You're gonna be the death of us, you hear?
If you can walk, get yourself up the ladder. There's a Wait! Voidwoken!
That's good. Yeah, I still have quite a bit. I can probably see if you want to target the candle holder. Nice. So I'll just need encouragement. Mossy. Mossy is not wet. That's great. I'm glad for her.
These beardless bugs won't sink the ship on my watch. They who are about to triumph.
I thought Voidwoken was supposed to be scary.
He just like armored up and then did nothing. He was done.
Let the games begin.
I will say, I'm kind of surprised I
faced
don't bring
worse.
Sybil, because I just played this a little while ago with a friend and watched her kill like 3 of them in one turn. She's absurdly overpowered.
We need to move.
I don't think there's anything else up here. I never found a bucket.
Away!
I mean, I found a
The
bucket.
sea's hungry. We don't have much time.
I hear something. It's Magister Siwan, the one who put on this damn collar. Sounds like
She tries to speak, but can only gape as she clutches her neck, trying to stem the bleeding of a gushing wound.
Goodness.
With jagged movements, she raises her clenched fist and holds out a length of cloth soaked with some kind of strong-smelling tincture. Blood quickly soaks through the cloth. Magister Siwan's mouth opens and closes, her eyes wide in terror.
I'm not a trained medical expert.
Blood pours out from around the bandage. Magister Siwan reaches out to you, her hand flailing. It's working. The pressure is stemming the flow of blood. Siwan clutches your arm, her eyes locked with yours. Something within the ship snaps. The floorboards shudder. Siwan struggles to her feet, clinging to you tightly. The ship lets out a deep groan, then cracks.
Ow. I've seen this hentai. It's terrible.
This is it!
Oh, but it gave 400 XP. That's nice. I am not on that boat. There I am.
I have plans for you, child.
Oh.
Rise.
Okay. Thanks. Drowning would kind of suck. at this
Honorable
point.
Dallas, we lost a ship sailing sorcerer prisoners to Fort Joy. We assume some escaped and broke their collars. Their vile magic lured the Voidwoken. All who were aboard are presumed dead. Yours faithfully into eternity, High Judge Oriven.
Into eternity. That's some devotion, my dude. But yeah, as you can see, we got all the standard RPG races. Human, elf, dwarf, a whole fucking lizard, and a spooky, scary skeleton, which I'm kind of surprised. I don't ever play as the skeletons, and it kind of is shocking. You'd think I'd be more into being a spooky, scary skeleton, but here I am. There aren't a lot of load screens. Sometimes it'll like load as you go, which is a little strange, because it'll like stop you from walking so it can load. But there's not a lot
Those
of
void
loads,
work
like
make
big load
short
screens.
bloody
They do
work of
take
the ship.
forever.
Am I the lone survivor?
I mean, there were people on the
It
boat.
seems something wanted me alive.
Oh, that's polite of it. See, like that.
Voidwoken. Those are the same beasts that sank our ship. Damn, they've made it to shore.
Yep.
Look here, Quercus. Another giant. My word,
yeah, I
this
love
blasted isle
a
is
squirrel on a skeleton cat.
Was that? Yes, I did see how it managed to survive an attack by the Great Acorn's servants. Impressive, just as you say.
The Great Acorn.
But that is no reason to trust it. Giants like that destroyed our forests. They are the very reason the Great Acorn is returning in all its wrath. What? Dear me, have you taken leave of all 6 of your senses? You would have me use this giant for a shield? Why would I... Oh, but I see. You are a cunning devil, Quercus. Of course, if it escaped the Great Acorn's vile servants, it can do so again. We need only follow in its big, wide shadow and be safe.
So it's a talking, sentient, crazy squirrel riding a skeleton cat as a horse. To summarize. That's fucking fantastic.
Egad! It speaks our tongue, Quercus! Hush before... What do you mean a good time for introductions? You know full well who I am, you silly old cat. The great Solora, grandest of the... Oh, introduce myself to the giant. I shall do no such thing. You give away your trust too easily, my dear steed.
You're a squirrel, my dude.
No, we will have the giant march. In time, we'll see whether it deserves our confidence. Now, onwards! Shield! Venture forth, post-haste. The great acorn waits for no one.
Okay. So this guy's here now. He's part of the team. Doing tricks. Does he follow?
Our shield speaks, Quercus. Prick up your phantom ear. Dear me! It has questions, Quercus. Why, yes, I suppose answering them is the polite thing.
He's also just kind of a jackass.
Speak! Shield! What are your queries? Indeed, Quercus.
I'm not gonna chit-chat with this squirrel on a cat right now. I just wanted to know if it was following me. Yeah, okay, he teleports. That's a little awkward. There's a much better cat. Somewhere around here. There he is.
Black cat. Hello, kitty.
The cat's eyes are clouded and grey, but it stares at you with acute intensity.
What? How did I get... Hey, stop following me.
It's gonna be difficult. You're a cat.
What? No, that can't be. I can't... Hey, stop following me. Huh? Yeah, fine. I'm fine. I just... I'm not sure.
Right.
It's all a little foggy.
Cool.
The cat opens his mouth as if to speak, but his eyes lose focus, and with a jerk he turns away from you.
Everything I've interacted with so far has been an asshole, or an animal, or an animal that's also an asshole. So
I've spotted something.
yeah, I don't have the shovel. And I'm not a lizard, so I can't just dig. There it is. Oh my god, thank you. There we go. So now I got 2 cats. One that's hypoallergenic, I guess, considering it's a skeleton. So there's that. It is being ridden by an insane speaking asshole squirrel. But I've got cats. Like, who else do I need? The other companion's gonna be subpar. I still don't have pants. I mean, technically speaking, I do, but it's this, like, gray skirt. Not super pleasant. Bad fashion. Yay, and even better piece of armor. But still no pants.
I wonder where this leads.
You walk up to a skeleton unlike any you have ever seen before. His skull seems to be carved into intricate patterns with a gemstone sitting in the middle of his forehead. Approaching, you hear a profane rumble from the undead beast.
Bugger.
Carved in stone, I love it.
How on earth am I supposed to... Oh. Perhaps...
Skeletal fingers reach down and grip the skin of the dead man's face, pulling sharply upwards. After a few more tugs at the man's cheeks, the skeleton relents, letting the head drop to the ground with a damp thud.
Damnation. That stuck fast. I wonder, does the beard act as some form of anchor?
He's like legit trying to rip this dude's face off.
Ah! No! Stay back! Don't... Actually, you don't seem half as threatening as those creatures in red. Run along, won't you? I have business to attend to.
What you doing there?
Why, its face, of course. What other use would I have for some rotting corpse? A face that seems rather stubbornly attached to his skull.
Probably for the best.
I would normally employ a tool to delicately but viciously rip the face from the body. I could then craft a mask to hide my bone. But as I lack such a tool...
The skeleton grabs the corpse by the cheeks and pulls hard, grunting in frustration as the body's skin holds firm.
Listen, my dude, we're all trying to... How did you so eloquently phrase it? Craft a mask to hide our bones. But, that's pretty wild.
Oh, don't be ridiculous. I have important things to do on Reaper's Coast. I cannot simply sit about waiting for the rest of you to die so I may continue my business in peace. No, I may be an eternal, but my patience has its limits. Indeed, I may be the only eternal. My people seem rather absent, at least from this realm. As for the others, well, there is an excavation site at the Black Pit's oil fields. Perhaps there I'll find my answers.
You want to be bros. Skelly bros.
I suppose, circumstances being what they are, it could be advantageous. You seem more at ease in this world than I. A guide would certainly be useful.
It's probably all the skin.
Excellent. While we are conversing, perhaps you notice that I am rather skilled in, well, all things.
And no lack of confidence.
Of course, the arcane arts are my little speciality, but being a brilliant wizard does not mean I cannot handle blade or bow. So, which do you require for this enterprise of yours?
Oh, what's a big thing? he's a skeleton, which means he can use his fucking fingers as lockpicks, which is fantastic. So I kind of want to make him roguey.
Ah, you seek a more subtle approach. How surprisingly civilized. Very well. What do you require?
Let's do Shadowblade.
I could do that with one hand behind my spine. Now, shall we get on? There is rather a lot to see. Splendid. Very well. Let's be off.
Yeah, because I'm gonna do... Pretty much everyone else on my team is gonna be physical. I'm just doing, like, utility and healing. So... Not bad. I guess it's actually saving, which is a little better than loading, but still. This dude. This absolute chat of a lizard.
You spot a strange lizard gazing over the water with a steady, malcontent stare. His skin is of a bright, blood-red color. Could he be... Yes, you recognize him from the ship. It would seem you're not the only one who survived the tentacles of the deep.
Nice sunburn, bro.
The lizard turns about with the graceful ease of a dancer, or a duelist. You lock eyes with his, two smouldering embers that sizzle your very soul.
Why is this so, like, subtly romantic?
I suppose that's what passes for wit in your neck of the... bog, I should think. But wait, perhaps I spoke too soon. I recognize you now. The brave soul, the saviour. I was with you on that ill-fated ship, and might well not have survived had you not returned to the aid of your fellow passengers down in that dreadful hole. You have my gratitude.
Hand over heart, he salutes you with a bob of the head. More than a nod, though less than a bow.
Okay.
Yes, I'm sure you've all the makings of a hero and all that, but let's not get carried away, shall we? Now then, if there's nothing further... If you really must know, I haven't quite decided yet. I've a frightful amount of things on my mind, hence my standing here contemplating the waves.
He sighs dramatically.
Tell me.
Seems like he would.
What do you see when you cast your glance over this ocean?
Oh, well, you know.
Touché.
He looks out over the water once more, and so do you. A few tranquil moments pass as the waves lap against your thoughts.
As for myself, when I consider this vast expanse before us, I see an empire. I see continents dotted with mighty cities. And shimmering along the soft curve of the sea's horizon, I picture the palaces that formed my paradise. Yes, but these weren't castles in the sky, were they? Quite obviously, I was musing over the very actual empire that I lost.
Oh, that sucks for you.
Suddenly, having all the air of being deeply offended, he stares at you with utter incredulity.
Well, don't just stand there gawking like an ape at an abacus. Or do you really mean to tell me you don't know who I am?
You've never heard of an abacus that can tell who people are?
Well, more's the damn pity, isn't it? For I am the Red Prince, the All-Conqueror, the World-Tamer, the Spouse of the Sun.
The Spouse
Of course you know
I love
me.
that for you. You married the sun? It's fucking
There's
wild,
a brief moment's
man.
pause, during which his grandiloquent pose deflates ever so slightly.
Some lady married the Eiffel Tower.
That said, I suppose I must own up to the fact that I find myself rather in between all-conquering and world-taming opportunities at the moment.
Oh, that sucks.
The grandeur that is my fate has hit a bit of a snag. But never you worry. For the throne I was destined, and my throne I shall have. Truly. A kind offer indeed. And you've already proven to be trustworthy enough. You came back for the others on that ship, after all. Fine, I accept. On one condition. For reasons I'll not disclose right now, it is imperative that I should meet with a dreamer, one of the mystics of my kind. I've reason to believe one of them may be present on this island. Promise me we'll look for him, and I'll extend you the blessing of my company.
I love, so far I've picked the people with no small amount of self-confidence.
Jolly good. So, now that that's settled, first things first. Even if you are as versed in the art of eloquence as I am, that our swords will be doing a lot of the talking from here on out goes without saying. As a born fighter, I prefer the perfection of the blade myself. But I'm well acquainted with the secrets of magic, and yes, even subterfuge. What say you?
Yeah, just stick
Very
with the sword
well.
and shield, buddy.
Onwards
Sword and
then
board.
to victory or death.
The Red Prince nods and gives you a smile that wavers ever so delicately
Literally
between
bored.
courtesy and contempt.
What kind of a shield is that? Just a few planks of wood strapped to some kind of wheel?
Now, as you're aware, you'll be travelling with a prince. Proper forms of address include Your Majesty, Your Royal Highness, or if you're feeling particularly frivolous, Milord.
Okay.
As your luck would have it, I seem to be fresh out of luggage, so you won't be required to carry my belongings.
Thank God.
Of course, there are other forms of protocol to bear in mind, but I'll see to it you'll pick up the rest as we go. So, without further ado, let us be off.
Okay. Good talk. There's some way to... How do I do it? Let's see, yeah, that. I also don't know how I turn that off. That's super nice.
I know nothing of any of that.
You can...
We already know the
here.
truth, Magister. Now speak.
I am a proud loyal to the Order. I would not dream of subverting our cause.
Atusa, please.
Your Godwoken has asked you a question. Answer him.
Need I repeat myself?
But I know nothing of any Verdus.
We already know the truth, Magister. Now speak. Stay back, sorcerer, and stay silent. Our Godwoken speaks.
We know you've been helping sorcerers escape, Atusa. We have proof.
I like that he's... To be fair to these people, he's also got one of these collars
I'd
on.
sooner cut my tongue out than lie to you, Alexander. I know nothing of any escapees.
If you can tell the Godwoken no more, your tongue is of no use. Cut it out.
This can't be serious, Alexander. Come!
You should know by now to obey your superior, Magister, whatever she may ask.
Atusa pinches the tip of her tongue with 2 fingers and brings her dagger to its root. Her eyes squeeze shut. Drops of blood form against the dagger's edge and quickly fall to the ground. She groans.
Stop! My father, may his soul rest in peace, would be disappointed in you, Atusa. To think you would lie to his only son, your bishop, and your friend these many years.
Fucking wild, man.
The fate of our realm. If you will not help us save it, then you will help the Void destroy it. Dallas?
Yes, Your Holiness?
I believe we're done here.
And she just wrecks this lizard girl.
What a waste. Come, we'll be needed elsewhere.
Don't you hear?
Missed quite the... burst into quite the bloody...
Okay, well, everybody leveled up. Super, love that for us.
The Lizard Magister, or what's left of her, lies in a puddle of gore.
These creatures are so prone to violence. Naturally, the weaker specimens suffer.
She was a lizard, yet a magister. No matter her reasons, her penalty was fair.
My dude, she cut out her own tongue, and then someone blew her up. You don't think that's too harsh? Okay.
Come on then, Legsy. Pay up.
I find out this is not your business, Long Pig.
Don't let this moss muncher talk to you like that. Especially a cheapskate like this one. Griff already knows she don't like to pay her fair share.
An intense-looking man steps between the thug and the elf and rolls up his sleeves, revealing well-muscled and heavily scarred arms.
Just stand aside, won't you, mate? This is no business of yours.
Lone wolves decide their own business.
The thug freezes in fear for a moment before shuffling back to the protection of his crony.
Pay up, elf. No one shorts Griff. Especially not one of you.
Excuse your mouth.
The intense-looking man stands beside you against the thugs, shooting you an appraising glance. Burrow looks you both up and down, sizing up your combined threat.
Ah, get out of here. The both of you. You ain't worth the sweat on my brow anyhow.
The elf smiles and bows to you in thanks.
Follow me, before more of them trouble us. There is a safe place.
The man rolls his sleeve.
Good work there. Good work.
He stretches out one rough hand to shake yours. He grips your hand tight as a vice and shakes it, hard.
Back. And it looks like you could use someone to watch yours. I've just got a small errand to run. And then I'll be looking to get the hell out of here, while I've still got a neck to collar. How about we stick together until we get out of this place?
This is the good life, man.
He gazes around admiringly at the decrepit surroundings in which you find yourselves.
Funny boy. Stick around a while. That'll change. 2 heads are better than 1. And when push comes to shove, 4 fists are better than 2, right?
I like that you can count.
He grins, sharp teeth glittering in the midday sun.
So, before we hit the road, it's best if we decide battle strategies up front. Should keep more of our blood in. Survival's my main priority. I'll use every trick in the book to keep us alive.
I'm
Dexterous
sure
arts.
What,
what are you looking for exactly? A tapestry embroiderer?
Oh,
Sure. Think it up. Dexterous arts. What are you looking for exactly? A tapestry embroiderer? Can do.
He scans the...
Right you are.
Alright. That's basically gonna be the whole team. Everybody else is gonna get abandoned. They'll probably die. And I guess that sucks for them, but hey, I have 2 cats, so, you know, who cares?
So this is Fort Joy.
I really mentioned before. Is your
crumbling disaster.
See? That's a terrible name.
I know that look well enough. You're about to pop, ain't ya? Why don't you enter a match and let some of that frustration out the right way? You'll find out. Down the hatch, then.
I really don't like the way you just said that. Oh, the only issue I have with having 2 cats and a squirrel is that if you have any cats, this dog will not talk to you. It's really unfortunate. Can I make the cat?
The cat's eyes.
No, I can't make the cat stay where it is.
The old dog looks up at you but doesn't lift his graying head from his paws. He heaves a heavy sigh. The tip of his tail starts to wag.
I'm Buddy.
Oh, hey, buddy.
It's no use anyway.
I love they give you the opportunity to talk to these dogs and they are all good boys.
The dog tentatively sniffs the offering, then grabs it between its teeth and swallows it.
You're nice. Emmy would have loved you. She was my mate for the last 7, carry the 2, plus 50. 5 years! The Magisters, they took her. I love you. Say, Let me show you something.
Thanks, bruh.
The dog focuses at the cat at your feet, baring its teeth.
I want cats. Follow me, cats. Okay. I can't make them, like, stay. So, gotta run. Run. Talk to Betty,
Oh, hey! Hey! I thought you might be Emmy. Key? What key? Oh, the key! The Magister who took Emmy dropped it when he was walking away. Did someone say Emmy?
You said Emmy.
Oh, Emmy. If you find out where it leads, if you see Emmy, tell her I miss her. Not too far from here. But she was taken by a guy in a white robe who smelled horrible. Like lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of dogs. And also a little like dead people.
Oh.
He dragged her to the big castle just there. I'm so worried about her. I think I love you.
Frightfully busy at the moment, love. Haven't got any liquor on hand, have you? This fella could use a little comfort. Why, look at that. Just what I ordered. Ain't you a peach, love? And old Dean here'd thank you too if he could. Poor fella over there crossed one of Griff's card sharks and got a club to the skull. Doomed to be sure, but I'd like to ease his way out.
You think you're so fancy with your flashy abracadadoodle, don't you? Fa, who needs you? Fat chance. I'd wrestle death to the ground and make him scream my name for a set of dainty toe in the Hall of Echoes. All you did was save the bastard a good beat down. I caught a blow too many from those card-playing fatheads up on the ramparts. It got myself a golden ticket. I didn't even get the chance to use it. Why'd you take it? If they offer you a round of cards, this one guarantees you a win. It's called the Sparkler. Whoever's got it gets the pot. Filched it from that hog Griff himself. Careful, though. If you ain't as skilled a fighter as me, you'll end up on Dr. Lest's table with the rest of the lilies.
You almost died.
Suffers targets.
Big talk for the guy I just saved from certain death.
Ah, a little reprieve from the din outside. You are in the wrong place, Pinky. Fear? Pity, perhaps. A blind wolf may lead the pack, but sooner or later they will all starve. Never mind. If you need to suit up, I can offer you a fair price. If not, I would thank you to move on.
Alright. I don't have a lot of gold, but I do have a lot of things to sell. Which is the best part, I guess, about being a video game kleptomaniac. Because I've always got things on hand to sell. I don't know about anything else, I don't use most of these scrolls.
You can't get me! Got you! I got you! You can't get me!
I would like some pants, sir. He does have a pair of stained pants. And a staff, I'll buy that too. You know what? I think that'll do, thank you. I like that I have cats. That's so much better. I love having pants. But with the acquisition of pants, I think I'm gonna call it here.
Wait!
So, but I think I'm gonna call it a night.